Hello everyone, it's Katrina from the Alluring Bead Boutique, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make some handmade earring findings to use with our cute little components that we made in a couple of previous videos. So I've just got some little relatively simple ones on here for right now because I needed to take pictures for the website. But so I've got these two simple wrapped drop beads, and then we have the advanced technique where we did the wrapped briolet beads, the Carnelian, and we formed the cute little spiral accents on them. So we'll be using those at the end of the tutorials today. And I've got a bunch of tools laying here. The wire I'm going to use for both pairs, since I use copper to wrap my stones, I am going to be using copper 20 gauge. This is the German style half hard. It is the Bead brand. It's just round wire. And it's coated so that it has an anti-tarnish coating on it. I've got my ruler, flush cutters. I've got an assortment of pliers out here. I have some round nose, my multi-step looping pliers, my fine tip chain nose, and these ultra fine tipped chain nose pliers also. I'm going to have those there. Not sure if I'll use all of them or not, but I've got them out just in case. I have my steel bench block, which you can see is pretty rusty, and a rubber block underneath to eliminate some of the noise and to keep the hammer from bouncing too hard. I have two hammers here. I've got my chasing hammer, and I also have a texture hammer. And this little texture hammer is pretty cute. I'll put some links to all of these tools in the blog post for my Amazon affiliate links, but this one has 4 different heads, and you can change them out and do these different kinds of cool little textures on your metal. So I thought that might be something fun we can do today. So I've already cut my wire using my flush cutters, and I have a flush end on both ends of each piece of wire. I'm doing 2 different types of earring tutorials today, so I went ahead and cut 4. And I cut these about 2 3/8 inches long. So use your ruler and your flush cutter. Actually, these are more like 2 1/4 inches long. So go ahead and cut your wires. Get a flush cut on both ends, and go ahead and get out your file and file your ends so that on 2 of the wires you can go ahead and file the ends and make sure that you have a nice smooth flush end on both sides of the wire. To do that, you're just going to take a flat file, or you can use an emery board. You can even use sandpaper, a fingernail file, and you just simply file the ends to get any rough edges off of the ends. If I bring it in really close, you can see that one's still not quite smooth. So just keep going until it gets smooth. And then you might want to just go around it just like that to get that little piece of metal that can form around the circle. If you have a flex shaft or a Dremel, you can use a cut burr and just gently round the end of your wire with your rotary tool. Or you can also get these manual, it's just a cut burr that's on a handle. It's called a wire rounder, and you can order those online. And then you can also use that and just use your own twisting motion to, my little brass piece is loose on this, and just keep rolling it around until everything gets nice and smooth, because you don't want that sharp edge poking in someone's ear when you sell these earrings, or your own if you're going to wear them. So the first pair that I'm going to make is an oval ear wire, and I've done this video before, but it's also got a little bit of extraneous stuff and a couple of old comments in there from things I don't do anymore, so I thought I'd redo it. So for the next step, we're going to make the little loop that you attach your earring to. So you can either use the smallest barrel of a multi-step looper, such as this one here, but you can also use round nose pliers if that's all you got. You just want to make sure that you do your wires one at a time, and that you mark the spot that you make your loops with with a Sharpie or something like that, so that both of the loops come out, you know, looking the same and are the same size. I'm just going to go ahead and use these because this is one of the best investments I ever made. So you'll place your wires in between the barrels. You'll take your finger and you'll rub over the top and make sure you can't feel any wire. You can see that I've got the wires gripped right beside each other, and I'm unable to feel that. So right now I'm ready to roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this loop. I'm going to take my thumb and hold it against the wires, and I'm just going to roll these pliers around as far as they'll go, just like this. Once I get as far as I can get, I'm going to open my pliers and rotate them, and then I'm going to come back around and continue rolling until my wires touch like this. And I'm going to check both of them because I'm a southpaw and make sure that they're both touching. Then I can just let go and take them off. And then I have two identical sized loops here on the ends. So one pair of pliers I didn't mention, one that I like to use for this project, are these Wrap and Tap pliers. This pair has 3 different size barrels here, and they're pretty good size. There's like a 13, a 16, and I think this is a 20 millimeter. And then on this barrel, you just have this one single barrel that's flat on the inside. But it works really great for making these oval ear wires. I'm going to take these 2 loops. I still have them lined up side by side. And I'm going to place them so that they're touching against the back barrel like this. I'm going to be using this middle barrel to roll my the beginning of my oval shape. So I'm going to roll this really big, wide earring finding. So I'm going to do it the same way as I did before. I'm just going to use my finger to apply pressure as I roll and go as far as I can. And because these are really large, I can use my finger to come around and just bring them all the way around, just like that. So now this is the shape I have. Next, I'm going to grab these really super fine tipped pliers right here. I am going to grab my wires so that not in the center, I'm going to come forward just a tiny fraction like this off of the center towards the loop I already formed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my thumb back here, and I'm just going to push really strong and sharp and form this little oval. I went a little too far with that, but I can fix these. Let me bring them out just a little bit. The only thing I have left to do is to bend this part back. So once I get everything lined back up, so everything is even and matched up, I am going to use these little pliers one more time. This time I'm going to put the small barrel on the inside like this. And I'm going to come in and grip. Then I'm just going to give a slight little angled bend, just like that. I played around with them just a little bit, and what I actually did to round the front back off just a little bit was I brought in these multi-step looper pliers again, and I used this bigger barrel here. I put my earring in just like that, and I just pushed this side right here around that rounded barrel just a little bit, just to make that front side a little bit more round. I'd made an adjustment, and I had to cut off those wires back where I bent them out back here, but I kind of like them short like this right there. So now we're going to wire harden the little oval earring findings, and to do that we can just use I'm just going to use this nylon or a rawhide mallet and my bench block. And I'm going to do these one at a time. The main place that we want to get these earrings hardened up is right through here on this bend. That is so that when normal wear and tear, your customers taking the earrings in and out of their ears, this little area will not bend and misshape. So you're going to just tap along on both sides of the finding like that. Then you can test it with your, test the strength of the wire with your fingers like this. You want a little bit of a give, like a bounce like that, so it has some tension in it. So that one feels pretty decent. So we'll just do the same thing on this one. Come along both sides of the bend. Flip it over. Come along both sides of the bend. And give it a test. And that's pretty good. Then you could just go ahead and put your two little findings back together and make sure that everything is still looking even. Make any adjustments you might need to if something got a little bit out of shape. You can also, if you want, you can take your chasing hammer and you can flatten the wire here and here. That just gives a different look to the finding. It's totally up to you if you want to do that. What I'm going to do is I am going to just leave mine the way that they are, because I think they look really pretty. And I think what they'll look the best on are these more ornate little earring components that we made in the, the past video. These little carnelians. So I'm just going to open this up and take that off. And then I am going to go ahead and put it onto one of these oval earring wires. So remember to open to the side, like that. Put this on. And then I am going to close. Just ever so gently. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to do the same with this earring. I just used some El Cheapo, really like Walmart wire here so I could take some pictures. Which is another reason why we're redoing these earring findings for these beautiful carnelians. They're so pretty. And then just make sure that you get it closed and look at it like this to make sure that everything's on the same plane. That one's a little off. Just come over just a slightly. And that looks better like that. Okay, so that is the oval ear wire for the copper swirl Carnelian Briolet drops that we did a few weeks ago. And they're really, really pretty. Alright, so that's it for this one. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to make some paddled end head pins, or excuse me, earring wires. And we're going to use those on these more simply wrapped turquoise gemstones. There's a corresponding post for both of these videos, and I will throw the links to them up at the Alluring Bead Boutique. Over there, you'll find links for the tools, the materials list, and some step-by-step photos to help, to work along with the video. All right, so that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.